Hi everyone, Sarah from Sarah Homfray Embroidery. Today I'm going to tell you what a waist knot is, because I get asked lots of questions about this. What's that knot on the top of your work? So I thought I'd make a video just about that. We'll look at what it is, how to make one and when to use it. So a waist knot is a temporary knot that you use to start your embroidery thread. Once you have done some stitching, you can cut it off, therefore it is waisted. So that's waist as in to get rid of and not needed anymore, not waist as in that waist. And it's a really neat way to start your embroidery threads. So you need to make your knot. There isn't a specific knot for a waist knot because it gets cut off, so it doesn't matter what the knot looks like. But I'm going to show you 3 ways you can make a knot in the end of your thread. So you can just do an overhand knot. So we're just going to loop it, and then that comes up inside the loop and you can just pull it tight. That will make you a very small knot. If you need a bigger knot because you've got a more open weave fabric, you could go over that again and make another knot on the top. You can roll it around your finger. So I'm putting it on my finger, between my thumb and my finger. I'm going to wrap it around my finger a few times and then I just roll it off and then I pull it straight. So I'm gripping this thread in here and pulling this, and I can feel that knot forming inside, and that gives me a really big knot. So if you want to see the knot clearly to be able to cut it off later, that's a good one to use. And if you want a small consistent knot, you can do a quilter's knot. So I'm just going to hold that between my thumb and my finger. I put the needle over the top of the thread, clamp them in position, and the thread at the top, I just go around a couple of times like so, pull it back to the bottom, and I'm holding the thread in here all the time, and I'm just going to pull that thread through there, and again that knot will form in my finger. So slightly neater way than doing it with a rolling off your finger method. So that's a quilter's knot, and that gives me a sort of in between size knot, really consistent knot every time. So the important thing about your waist knot is you can leave it on the top of your work. You don't need to put it underneath because we're going to cut it off. We want it nice and neat and tidy, so we're going to put it on the top. So I'm going to stitch down here. So I'm going to put my knot about halfway down here in the direction I'm working to, and I've just put that on a design line. I've not put that in a space here because the thread, when you pull it out, can leave a little fibre behind and you can see it. If I was filling all of this in, you could put it in there. I'll show you that in a second. So I'm just going to put it on the line because I know that line's going to get covered. So that is my waist knot. Then I would do a couple of little back stitches up here, again on that design line. Back stitches are a little bit stronger. I have done forward ones before and it's been absolutely fine. So a couple of little stitches like that. Then I would come up at the end and I can start doing my stitching on that line, and I would cover those 2 little stitches. Once I've done some stitches, I know that thread's really secure, and then I can cut my knot off. I'm also working towards my knot, so as I get close to it, I can cut that off. So then I've got no knots on the back, I've got no knots on the front, and a nice secure embroidery thread to start stitching with. So that's a good place to put your knot if you're just doing a single row stitching. But if you want to fill a whole area in, you can put your knot away from that area. So keep the knot out of the way. You don't want to be fighting with it. So we're going to fill all of that in. So my knot's out here. You'll notice I've still put it on one of those lines just in case the fibres get into the fabric. And then I could do my little starting stitches inside the shape. I know that's going to get covered because I'm filling the whole area in. And then I can start stitching again with whatever stitch I want to do in there. Let's just do a couple of satin stitches. So I always do a few before I cut my knot off. So usually leave cutting my knot till the end so I can put my stitches in. That's nice and secure, and now my knot can be cut off. It's not getting in the way of my stitches. You might hear this as well called an away knot because you can see it's away from the work. And then when I cut that off, I can just pull it up so I can see the end. You can see that fabric pulling up there. Don't cut your fabric. Snip it very close like that, and you will get on the back a little length of thread. So I've gone from, there's my starting stitches to here, and that thread will get caught in a little bit on the back, but this bit won't. So you might find you've got some little ends on the back. You can just snip those off if you want to, but don't put your knot miles away from your stitching. Put it close to the area you're working, and that keeps it nice and neat and tidy. So this little yellow knot here is the waist knot for this little bit of chain stitch that I've done. So I put my knot out of the way of where I was stitching, but on the line of this little acorn here, I put my 2 small starting stitches underneath here, one there, started down the bottom and stitched up over those stitches there. I've gone all the way around there, finished that thread, and now I can cut that waist knot off too. So I can just pull that up, snip it off, and it's really nice and neat and tidy. So just want to mention one more thing about these knots, because if you had a lot of stitching in here and you didn't have anywhere to start and finish, it wasn't obvious you've got a little bit left to do, you can do a really long away knot. I'll call it an away knot this time. So if I wanted to come and stitch there, I'm just doing it in a different colour so you can see, I can put my knot all the way out here. You can put it actually kind of away from your design, and then I could just come up here. And I could either just start stitching. If I didn't have enough room to do those 2 little stitches, I could just start stitching, or if you can get the 2 stitches in, or at least 1, that's always just a bit of extra security. Then I can start stitching, can finish my stitching, and then I can cut the knot off on the top, and then I've got a long enough thread on the back to thread into a needle and actually finish off properly. So that is another way you can use your knot if you find yourself short of space and you can't get those 2 little stitches and you haven't got anywhere to put your knot. You can do this long knot away from it, cut it off and thread it through and finish it off afterwards. So just a quick video for you, but I hope that's clarified what a waist knot is. A really brilliant knot to use for starting your threads. It's really super neat and tidy. You can see how to finish your threads in this video up here, talk about starting and finishing your embroidery threads. And if you want to have a go at this design, you can get it on the free stuff page of our website, link in the description below this video. If you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you next time.